Welcome to Wayzata High School for a non-conference boys basketball matchup, and a pretty good one for you here tonight. It's the East Ridge Raptors coming over to take on the Wayzata Trojans. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox, along with Greg Miller, the Armstrong head coach. And Greg, both these teams having pretty solid years. They're facing difficult schedules. Yeah, they've lost a few along the way, but this one shapes up as a pretty good matchup, and two teams with pretty different styles also.
Yeah, I'm sure both of them wanted this game at this point in the year. We only have 3 weeks left before the playoffs, and it's a good test in non-conference. You got the size and athleticism and strength of East Ridge against the lightning quickness and great shooting of Wayzata, so it should be a fun contrast in styles. It could be a real up and down game. Both teams do like to run, but one team has a lot of size, the other team has more quickness.
A little bit of bragging rights, I think, for conference on the line a little bit, too. I mean, these are really two of the four, heavyweight conferences, I think, around the Twin Cities, too.
Yeah, you always want to represent your conference well. And we were in the Lake Conference for a long time at Armstrong, and we always took pride thinking we were the best one. Now, of course, the Northwest Suburban Conference is the best conference. But, yeah, that definitely is a thing when you have two of the powerhouses from these good conferences playing each other. You want to represent well.
Let's look at key players in tonight's contest, starting with East Ridge, and a guy that's getting some D1 looks. And Courtney Brown, he's a junior, but he's a guy that's going to be tough to stop.
Yeah, you expect him to get 3 or 4 dunks today. That's just going to happen probably. Even talking to Wayzata coaches, they know that you can't stop that at times. If he's making shots from the outside, then he's really tough. But yeah, he's a Division I player, and anytime you go against a Division I player, and they got 2 other Division I players on their team potentially, you have your work cut out for you.
And for Wayzata, we're going to talk about Jacob Benninga, a guy who, not the biggest guy around, but he is a good basketball player, fearless. He's been lighting it up of late again for the Trojans.
Yeah, he plays with such confidence. We played him already this year, and we had a great athlete ourselves on him, Jake Breitbach, a sophomore, and it was just tough for him and my son and other people trying to guard him because he's so quick and he's so confident. I mean, he gets a snip of a shot and it's up there and he makes a high percentage.
These teams met a year ago, and East Ridge won over at East Ridge. Wayzata will try to return the favor tonight. It's the Raptors and the Trojans, and it comes your way next here on CCX.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
And welcome back here to Wayzata as the team's getting set to be introduced. But first, there's a little maintenance going on as somebody must have been really shooting it well in warm-ups, or else in the girls' game as they did a number on the net, so they're taking a net off one of the other side baskets and going to have to replace it here before we can get this contest going here. So let's go over to courtside now. Joining us, the third member of our crew this evening is Allie Arlt.
Guys, tonight is a great opportunity for Wayzata to take on a really good non-conference team, in their conference, but they're playing against a battle-tested team. Out of the 5 losses that the Raptors have had this season, just all four of them have been against top-ranked teams in the state. Coach Tesdall says the Raptors haven't had a bad loss yet, and tonight he knows both of these teams are young and talented. He said, we've got to take advantage of our size. They'll be getting it down low into the paint a lot, but Coach Snetler says he's expecting that, so expect to see a lot of double coverage tonight, and at the end of this one, it's going to come down to that size advantage, so whoever can take advantage of that, they'll come out on top, guys.
Thanks, Allie. And these teams kind of have a little bit of a thing where they're scheduling each other. They played, as we said, last year over at East Ridge, and they plan to play again in the next year as well. And, it isn't always super easy to find good matchups, as you well know, too, in your non-conference, and especially the Lake teams being that small conference with 5 teams. Sometimes you have to hunt a little bit to find a good opponent to come over.
I mean, East Ridge is quite a long trek, to make over to Woodbury. But, it's worth it because you're playing against a good team. And when I used to coach in the Lake Conference, you had to schedule 18 non-conference games. That's extremely difficult to find days and times to do it, too.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams here this evening. And as we talked about a little bit, the fairly young team still is just one senior in the starting lineup for the Raptors. They start the Brown brothers, Courtney and Kendall, who is just a freshman, and then Carlson is also a sophomore. Zach Zabrowski is a junior, and TJ Kelly, the lone senior in the Eastridge starting lineup. And then for the Trojans from Wayzata, kind of a similar deal. A couple of seniors in their starting lineup in Tanner Jonas, who's really a first-year regular for them, and Drew Gallinson, who played a lot on their state tournament team last year. And then juniors beyond them with Keaton Heidi, Jacob Benega, and Luke Paulson. Again, Wayzata broke through, of course, and got to the state tournament for the first time since 1959 last season. Eastridge actually still looking for their very first state tournament appearance. So they're a program on the rise in not just this sport, but some other sports as well. Obviously, they've had some good success in football, and they're trying to make their mark this year. And hopefully for their sake, they want to wind up in that state tournament this year.
Yeah, and if they don't this year, I mean, I know they have a good chance either next year or the year after with all the young talent that they have. So I suspect that streak will be broken sometime soon.
6 losses. Your officials this evening is assigned by Minnesota State High School are Lewis.
There you see Bryce Tesdall in the Navy sport coat there. First year with the Eastridge program. He came over from New Prague, and as Greg reminded me, part of the one of the best coaching families in the state, the McDonald family, the Chisholm-based group, and was it his mother? Was a daughter of Bob McDonald? I believe
so. Yep.
And Brian Schnettler has really come in and done a nice job at Wayzata now in his 4th season, and took him to the state tournament last year. It definitely won't be as easy this year. Not saying it was easy last year, but they were a very veteran team and a very solid team all the way around. They had more size, so it'll take a little different kind of tournament for them at section time if they're going to win the section again.
Yeah, I mean, for them to get to Hopkins, they're going to have to really shoot lights out, but they gave them a good game the first time they played them.
Carlson controls the tip. Eastridge has it first. Kendall Brown getting it out to the wing there to Zabrowski, and then there's a steal. Benega with it for Wayzata. Drops the pass off, and jumper a little too strong. Won't go for Keaton Heidi. Trojans really want to pressure all night long, see if they can force some turnovers and get
a mismatch right now. Benega, although they're going to have some of those because they're small. I guess that's just how they're having them guard number 10 Brown.
Dumped it inside and then right back out here. Courtney Brown had it knocked away briefly, but recovered by Kelly. Drive down the baseline and back out. Kelly zips it across. Courtney Brown lets it rip, and that is good for 3.
As I said in the pregame, if he's making threes, then they're going to be really tough. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't take Kendall Brown and put him inside, put him on the block against Benega.
Benega coming out high to get things set here, gives it to Gallinson. Nice back cut, and then thrown back out and stolen by Courtney Brown. Brown will look to attack. The finger roll is good. Quick 5-0 lead on the road here for the Raptors. Gallinson. Now back out. Paulson, who can really shoot it from deep if you give him room.
The Raptors are packing it in on defense. Afraid of the quickness in there. Just got the blow by.
Benega up off the glass. Yeah, you talk about, size disadvantage on the defensive end, but sometimes I think Benega's eyes light up when he sees somebody big out on him. He's going to drive it by him. And then this pass thrown a little too tall. Kelly couldn't go up and get it. Turnover Eastridge, and Wayzata will get it back. And that's what they're looking for tonight. Doesn't necessarily have to always be in the full court. Wherever they're at, they want to put pressure on the ball.
Yeah, they're very good at it. They're good at getting deflections, and that's their game plan, what just happened right there. And if they can do that the whole game, I like their odds.
Gallinson trying to whip it inside. A lot of traffic there. Saved. And that'll be an over and back violation against Wayzata.
Eastridge is really long on defense. They're not really getting up on their guy, but they don't have to. They just get their arms out wide and make the passing lanes difficult.
Yeah, when you look at Carlson and the two Browns, I mean, they can cover some ground out there. Kelly.
All coming back next year, too. Carlson, he really is aggressive on offense.
Nice spin move there, and he scores kind of on cue there, Greg. Just when you said it, he puts it up and in.
Yeah, he lets the game come to him, but when he gets the ball on the elbow area, he tries to score.
Paulson drives and dishes, and a takeaway, and here come the Raptors. Kelly, then he lost it back the other way. Gallinson trying to get it to Paulson. He was fouled there by Kendall Brown, who probably saved a layup right there.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a layup. I think that long arm getting back on defense, he was afraid to make that pass. Drew was, and he thought it would get intercepted, so luckily he drew the foul.
Paulson back out high to Gallinson here. Wayzata trailing it early, 7-2 on their home court against this good Eastridge team. Gallinson drives, left-hand layup is good.
It's a great drive by Drew, great use of the left hand. He's been in big games. He's not intimidated at all by the players on Eastridge.
In traffic, no good. Follow-up try wouldn't go either for Carlson, and Wayzata does come out of there with it. Gallinson. Now Paulson drives and kicks. Heidi from the corner, and that is good for three.
And that's the way Wayzata likes to play. They like to penetrate into the middle, and when we play them, try not to leave the corner guy because they make most of those corner threes.
Back cut here, and we'll get a foul inside against Gallinson as they snuck it into Zabrowski. And Gallinson trying to come over and help and got a little too much body there.
Yeah, great use of the left hand, 2-foot jump stop. And then Heidi shooting the three. All the guys on Wayzata can shoot the three except for their big man. They usually don't have him shoot it, but they're dangerous when you have four guys out there that all can drive and all can make the three.
Zabrowski looking to trigger it in here for Eastridge. He finds Courtney Brown for a quick jumper. No, but he was fouled just off the bench. Grant Pakovitz picking up the foul for Wayzata.
And that makes steam come out of a coach's ear when you follow a jump shooter like that. Just get your hand up and hope he doesn't make it. It's not really a high percentage shot, but this is.
Brown good from the free throw line on this first one. Puts Eastridge back in front by a point now at 8-7.
Now the pace of this game is interesting. There's no slowing it down for either team. I mean, these teams are going to fly. It's going to be a high-scoring game, it looks like.
Brown makes a pair here. He is living up to advanced billing already with 7 of the 9 points for Eastridge. And it's a 9-7 Raptors lead.
Switching screens on the backside. Looks like they're switching everything. Here comes one of their patented plays, flare screens, handoff.
Paulson driving it, cut off and comes back out. They'll bring it around to Gallinson. Gallinson looking to attack, but is cut off. Now Benega down the baseline, drops it off. Quick shot wouldn't go, then ripped free on the rebound, and we'll get a tie-up. Held ball will go Wayzata's way.
Yeah, Benega showing faith in his big man there. I mean, they're going to have to because they're going to have to collapse on him and they're going to get some looks, but the length of Eastridge is very difficult to go against inside.
Camden Heidi, number 23, 8th grader in there for Wayzata. We've got some young guys with talent on both of these teams. Also now in is Joey Arndt, a senior, number 3 for Eastridge. Benega turns and fires. That one's short. He went after it himself, and two Wayzata players collide hard, and it's out of bounds off the Trojans. Can't fault the effort. They just both got there at the same time.
You know, that's the one thing that Eastridge can do is get a hand up, and they got that great length. It'll be interesting to see the shooting percentage from 3 for Wayzata today when they have to shoot over those long arms.
Yeah, I think their best bet is going to be able to get some penetration to free up a little room.
That's right.
Swing it to the corner here. Courtney Brown, travel. The guess done that he was going to put it down with the right hand and kind of jump that, and it made him hesitate a little bit. It just looked awkward.
Yeah, it could have been a scouting report thing right there. Their defensive coach is Johnny Bryant. Hard to believe he's the defensive coach, but I thought he would be the offensive coach. Just kidding there, John. JB. Obviously Armstrong legend, who we really love over at Armstrong.
Camden Heidi short with his first shot of the night. Courtney Brown leading it back the other way here for Eastridge. Kendall Brown, yeah, I think he might have gotten away with one there. The shot won't go, but he'll go to the free throw line for 2. I agree. I thought he might have taken a little quick shuffle on that shot fake, but foul call going against the Trojans here.
Sometimes it looks like it, and it's not. That one, I think he did lift his pivot foot, but they didn't call it, so he's at the line.
Camden Heidi picks up the foul here for Wayzata, and the free throw is good. Kendall Brown getting his first point. We talked about young talent. He's one of those guys, a freshman, and looking very comfortable and at home out here in the varsity court. I think that's changed a lot because of how much basketball these guys play all year round. You know, years ago it was relatively rare to see any 9th grader in a game.
True. Yeah, these kids are playing so much basketball now by the time they get to 9th grade that a lot of their skills are developed.
Here comes Benega, no good, but he was fouled, and we'll head to the free throw line. I don't think it was the shot blocker. I think it was the guy looking to take the charge that is called there. It's Joey Arndt. So Benega, yes, he's a good three-point shooter, but obviously his ability to really put the ball on the deck and create for himself in the lane is a big part of his game too.
He can go either hand, that's the thing. I mean, he's lightning quick and he's got a great first step. You know, just cross over if you can't really force him one way or the other. And he's a good finisher too.
See, Cody Williams is in there, and another freshman for Wayzata, number 22. Connor Hale also was in earlier there for the Trojans, number 3. And coming back in is Tanner Jonas. And Benega knocks them both down here, so the Trojans pull to within 2 again at 11-9.
So Wayzata's played 9 guys already. We've only played 6 for Eastridge, I believe. Maybe 7.
Yeah, so far 6, and he gave me 7 names as guys who play, so at least coming in, it appears that they're not, you know, intending to use the bench quite as much. And a miss, and looked like Brown might have gotten shaken up just a little bit there. Taken back briefly by Zabrowski, and then a tie-up, and it will go Eastridge's way here.
Well, Coach Stentler does a good job of developing depth because he's, you know, all these guys are inexperienced and haven't played varsity, and he's been, you know, giving them a chance to play a lot of minutes as the season's gone on, and it's paying off. The guys off the bench are getting better, and they play at this fast pace. They need guys to come in off the bench and contribute.
He was telling me earlier this year, too, that their traveling teams are generally kind of lighting it up. That program-wide, you know, down to the lower levels have been very good.
I believe it. It's a bright future with Coach Stentler being a great coach and a lot of talent coming in.
Courtney Brown, tough shot, drifting left, but he knocks down the 3. He has been outstanding so far, 14-9. Lead here for the Raptors.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful stroke. Dribble drive offense, got right to the rim.
Connor Hale able to finish there, as Eastridge, for the most part, has done a pretty good job helping when a guy gets beat off the dribble, but that time they couldn't quite get there.
And they can beat pretty much every guy off the dribble. Like you say, it's if the help side is there and they're long, then they're going to have trouble finishing.
Carlson, too strong there. We're going to get a foul on Eastridge. Push-off called there as Joey Arndt was trying to get to that rebound and got a little bit of too much on the push there. So
yeah, Joey Arndt's a big kid. You know, if he pushes someone, they would notice. Looks like he must have played football. They had a really good football team this year. I know number 2, Kelly was a running back and a linebacker for him. Is really good.
Connor Hale had it briefly knocked away, and then it is stolen away here by TJ Kelly. Goes all the way to the rim and lays it in.
And Kelly's a really good athlete. He's probably not as lightning quick as some of these Wayzata kids, but he's definitely strong and quick.
Boy, they really pounced when they could see the dribbler was having a little difficulty there. And Williams, is this a foul or travel?
He
Looks
called
like it's
a
going to be
foul.
a foul, yep.
I thought he traveled first, but maybe the foul actually made him travel.
Courtney Brown will be called for the foul. Another look at this nice finish in traffic. Boy, Williams came flying through, swinging, trying to distract him, and didn't work. Gallinson into the lane. He'll go up with the left hand. No good, but he was fouled, as I think it'll be Carlson coming over to help. And boy, you've seen some examples. You talked about Benega and also Gallinson. The ability to use the left hand is huge. He didn't, no way he gets that shot off right-handed.
Right, and Coach Schnettler, he preaches, go downhill, and that's what they do. I mean, if you don't, cut that off, they're going to score, and if you do cut it off, then they get three-point opportunities. So they're running their dribble drive offense right now.
Free throw, no good. And he's a good X and O's coach, but I think one of the things that I feel like Coach Schnettler brought to the program too is just his confidence. It kind of carries over to the players. He knew coming into this job that, okay, Hopkins usually stands in our way, but he wasn't right from the get-go. He didn't back away or shy away from that matchup.
He was a great player himself. He made 102 three-pointers in one season at St. Thomas or something like that, and he was a confident shooter, and he knows that shooters need the confidence just to be able to let it fly, and that's the way they play.
Courtney Brown short on that jumper. Here comes Paulson with the drive. It was ripped away from him, and then it went off of Paulson. So good recovery defensively by the Raptors there, and they will force the turnover and get the ball back with a 4-point lead.
And I don't think he minds that turnover. I mean, that's one of those things. You're going to get some of those turnovers when you play this style of just driving as hard as you can to the bucket. And that became popular probably about 10 years ago when people started running the dribble drive. You don't see as much of it, but Schnettler loves it, and he's got the personnel to do it with all these small, quick guys.
Kendall Brown finishing with a tough layup there. His first bucket, he has 4 points.
He tweaked his ankle on the cheerleader over there. Still limping on her foot. I think he stepped on her foot.
Yeah, I think you're right. And a nice finish there. Cody Williams, fearless, getting into the lane.
And that's why I say he doesn't mind the turnover in the play before, because if you don't take risks and try to get to the bucket like that, you're not going to be able to do that. And every once in a while, you're going to turn it over.
Courtney Brown not able to hit it this time, and rebounded by Williams.
And I know he's made some outside shots, but if I'm Wayzata, I'm going to live with that. I just don't want them going inside and pounding us inside. Look at the size advantage at every position almost, and they haven't really used that at all. I haven't seen a post up yet. Surprised that they haven't done that. Modern basketball, you don't post up as much, but there's still a place for it, I believe.
Here's Williams to drive again.
Could have been a goaltend.
Could have been a goaltend. I thought so too on Carlson, and then the pass slips away there from Zabrowski. Wayzata doesn't seem to be complaining though, so see if.
No, he got it right before
he
it
did.
hit.
Yeah,
great block.
Like a good block.
But they are getting to the rim 3 times in a row. The 2 of them were 1 block, 1 turnover.
And we get a reach-in foul there against Eastridge as Paulson kind of used that screen nicely there, just kind of shrugged it off. And Kendall Brown will pick up his second. So a couple of guys with 2 fouls now for Eastridge. And we said they, it doesn't seem like generally are going to go real deep in their bench normally. But
and they look like they're getting tired as well with all this driving to the lane.
Nice steal by Courtney Brown. Brown ahead, and Williams thought he had basketball, but will pick up the foul. Still did save a layup there. And it will be free throw time here for Courtney Brown.
Brian didn't agree with that call. And, it was a fast break, so it was hard for the ref to get in great position to call it. He was he was kind of behind the guy when he made the call, but.
And Brown, soft touch on that free throw. Looks like a really skilled player too, besides, just being very good athlete and having the size and all that. Just the way he shoots free throws, you kind of get the feeling he could hit 90 out of 100 whenever he wanted to.
You can tell he spent a lot of time in the gym working on his game. He's going to be a special player. He already is.
Coach was telling us that Milwaukee and Drake are among the schools that have been in contact and offering him. So.
And he's only a junior, so I mean that could definitely go up when he gets a summer of AU, works on his ball handling. He'll probably be a guard in college. Nice size for a wing guard.
Benega drops it back out. They come out to Gallinson, shot fake, and then pulls up on the baseline, won't go. And we will get a foul on Eastridge as they were battling for that rebound.
I thought Carlson, he got out of position and displaced someone from Wayzata.
Raptors person number 5.
Looks like Zabrowski will end up picking it up, but yeah, it was two of them together. It could have been either one. And it will be Keaton Heidi shooting here as it's a 1-and-1. That's the 7th team foul on the Raptors. And no good on the free throw, and Carlson snares the rebound for Eastridge. So they have led pretty much throughout. Timeout taken here by Coach Tesdall. 6-point advantage here for Eastridge at 20-14. Is the game unfolding how you thought it would so far, Greg, here?
Yeah, I think that the length is bothering Wayzata a little bit, but I also think that as they get tired and they're going to be a step slower because they're not playing as many guys, I think these dribble drives that Wayzata is doing now are going to result in layups as this game goes on. So I kind of actually, even though they're behind by 6, I feel like Wayzata's got the game going the way they want more, and because they're not really giving up inside buckets. They've been giving up buckets that are perimeter jump shots and, some free throws too, which they want to eliminate. But I like Wayzata's chances the way the game has unfolded so far, even though Eastridge is obviously a really good team with a lot of talent.
Courtney Brown has performed very well up in the early going here with a quick 12 points for the Raptors.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, and he's active in the passing lanes too, and gets some steals, and then he can handle the ball well when he gets a steal. That was no problem taking it length of the court a couple times and then making a good finishing move at the end.
It has been kind of interesting that Wayzata, they've only made 1 3 so far, and actually more of their work has been done on drives to the hoop than on long distance jump shots so far. And that's kind of taken what the defense gives them a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, you want to not let Wayzata get their 3-point game going, and so then that does open up some passing lanes, and I suppose they figure they can get some help from the big guys on that. Trying to get a post up there. Like I said, we haven't seen one, but they tried to get one. They didn't throw it in there though.
Kelly handling it out high, gives it to Courtney Brown, and he'll quickly move it to Carlson. He shoots up a 3 and knocks it down. And the biggest lead of the night so far here, Eastridge up by 9.
Yeah, I mean, Eastridge is talented. They can make threes, and their big guys are good shooters.
Benega steps into that 3 and knocks it down. They got rid of it quick before Brown could get out there.
Well, he had to. I mean, if Brown got out there any faster, he would have blown right by him, and he knew it. So that's the issue with guarding Jacob. He's a tough guy to guard.
Kendall Brown on the drive, no good, but knocked out of bounds by Wayzata.
And just timed it up. Like Coach Schnettler's friend Steve Bender used to do all the time. He used to be a coach. He's a good friend of Schnettler's. Schnettler was a Rosemont coach, and anytime I saw him shuffling his feet by the top of the key, I knew the ball was going up. Jacob's the same way.
I remember doing the game very early in my time here where Coach Bender was coaching Rosemont when I was back in the old Lake Red days playing against Park Center.
Yeah, he was a great coach and a great player, too.
8-point lead now for Eastridge after the layup by Kendall Brown. Benega cutting back door, pulls up, no good. Good help defense arrived there. Carlson rebounding. Carlson's going to try and go all the way, and the layup is good.
Again, they got a back door, but there were long arms right by the rim, and then a lot of times, you're playing other teams, you're going to finish that shot, but kind of tough against these guys.
Camden Heidi traveled there as he didn't come to a good hard jump stop as he drove it there. And keep in mind, just an 8th grader. I was watching him, prior to the season, over for a story, and I, kind of asked John Bryan about. I said, "Who's this young guy?" And he is going to be really good. Camden Heidi, 23 for Wayzata. Obviously he's got some growing and maturing to do and all that, but he's got great skill, great jump shot,
and he's got good size too.
Kendall Brown bringing it up with Paulson on him. I tried a quick double, but he got rid of it in a hurry. Now across to Courtney Brown, and he knocks down a 3. They are going to be tough to beat if that keeps happening.
That's right.
13-point lead here now for East Ridge.
I still think Wayzata is gonna make a run here even in this half. Raptors do play good position defense though.
Gallinson driving, a little contact, but
yeah, I think you got to get that call, man. If you're gonna drive to the bucket like that, Coach Schneller is not happy with that no call.
Kendall Brown driving it with the floater, and wow, East Ridge blowing this one open now. They're up by 15 after the finish. If you look at that last one, the nice drive and dish and the 3-pointer. Well, you can rack up a lot of assists playing with that guy.
No doubt. And a nice little floater there, too.
I wonder if the Brown brothers play a lot against each other I don't know if that's a thing anymore though, playing in the driveway. It's probably all at the
Lifetime
rec center
Fitness,
or whatever, yeah. But even so, I'm sure they probably do match up a little bit here and there, and so many times the older brother really can help make a younger brother better. And thinking of the Benega brothers with that too, Jacob was the young guy tailing along, playing against his older brother's friends.
I'm sure. The Brown brothers, they look like they've got real good demeanor on the court. They're focused. They're not like getting overly hyped up when they make shots, but at the same time, they're really, concentrating a lot.
Courtney Brown has not had the key player jinx tonight, that's for sure. He's been as good as advertised. There's a nice drive and finish by the 8th grader Camden Heidi for Wayzata.
That was a great move.
Wayzata right now, you have to, not be worried about the scoreboard so much, but just keep having good possessions. And nice job just keeping the dribble alive there by Zabrowski until he finally got room for that last good power crossover and got it up on the glass.
Yeah, I mean, if Wayzata can't handle him and can't pressure into turnovers, they're going to be in trouble.
Tough try there on the layup, wouldn't go for Keaton Heidi. Zabrowski back out. Kelly whips it over, and they swing it right side now to Zabrowski.
Being very patient, working the ball around the perimeter, looking for a chance to drive.
Good move by Carlson, just couldn't quite finish.
Yeah, for a big man like that to be able to take it to the rim, it's tough.
Benega not able to get it to go.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that's going to give Wayzata problems is size, obviously, and these guys have size and they also can move, so they're contesting every shot. There hasn't been too many easy shots unless they get all the way to the rim.
Get a foul underneath as Connor Hale at 5'11" found himself matched up on Courtney Brown and got a hold of him there trying to deny an entry pass.
He got caught up on a switch on one of those screens, and there's not much you can do. It's probably good to get a foul then.
And they're not in the bonus yet either. That was only the 5th, so no free throws on this one. Courtney Brown, the catch and shoot.
Wow, he's feeling it.
Oh, man, that's tough.
That is. Yeah, he's very impressive. He can shoot the ball like that. I mean, that guy's got a bright, bright future.
And it's not that, the majority of them have been really wide open looks or anything either, but he just rises up and shoots it and scores it. Nice pass there, and Tanner Jonas gets the reverse layup for Wayzata.
Smart play by Tanner to use the rim as a protector there, because He's an undersized post player and probably got a shot block, but it's a nice play. Use his left hand.
To Carlson, and he was fouled on the way up as they had a little give and go there, pass down to the corner, and then the drive. There's a look at Brown just letting it rip.
You know, when he shoots a jump shot from 3, and at his size, shooting a jump shot from 3 makes you a foot taller. When you do that, a lot of kids shoot set shots from out there, and so for him to be able to just effortlessly shoot a jumper, that's the thing of beauty.
Carlson's free throw no good. Yeah, you can see he's got, you know, the footwork leading into that shot too. He's not, you know, not taking any extra time or any wasted motion there, just the catch and go up.
And that's a lot of repetitions. You can tell he's worked on his game, as I said earlier.
Second free throw good for Carlson, so a 17-point Eastridge lead. Here's Paulson, tough one over the taller guys there. Rebound by Carlson. They'll quickly swing it to the top. Brown wants it. He fires, and it is good again.
Wow. Little pose at that one. He even knows he's hotter than heck.
Oh, only 5 threes so far in this first half. 41-21, the Raptors.
He's got 5?
Yep.
Wow.
Paulson trying to answer, and he will knock it home for the Trojans. First bucket for Luke Paulson.
That is a streaky team. I mean, they take some shots that look questionable. I thought Luke's last drive before that was a little bit ill-advised, but he came right back the next time and fires a 3 and makes it. That's what makes them good. They're very confident.
Wayzata trying to put some pressure on that time. The Raptors handled it pretty well, and now back out to Courtney Brown at the top. 2:15 to go first half. Great opening half by the visitors from Eastridge. 41-24 lead.
Got an 8th grader guarding Courtney Brown right now. Oh, they're switching screens.
Brown gets it back, and he's got Hale on him, and it's going to be out of bounds off of Brown. So that one worked out. Subs now, Gallinson coming back in along with Keaton Heidi and Cody Williams for Wayzata.
Yeah, quick hands by Connor Hale. He knew that, you know, he probably wasn't going to be able to stay with him, so he was smart and deflected the ball off his knee.
Benega the drive and fouled from behind as Zabrowski will pick up his second. Zabrowski and Benega were kind of bumping and pushing a little bit on the way there, and I think Benega used it against Zabrowski, knowing that he was kind of mad and was probably going to come at him pretty hard there, and just took the contact.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he might be coming out too.
Benega no good with the free throw. No. Looks like it's going to be a high-scoring game, so you don't say if you're Wayzata now that you're, you know, hopelessly out of it, but they would like to, you know, kind of push it down to that 10-12 range at least by halftime if they could.
For sure. And the thing is, if the Raptors, like I said, if they relax at all, Wayzata will make a run on them. And as this game goes, the depth, Stentler's going to be hoping that the depth will pay off. We'll know about halfway through the second half, I think.
Long ahead to Courtney Brown here. Into the lane he goes. Wouldn't get it to drop the first time, so he just goes and gets the offensive rebound and scores. I'm going to run out of the room in the scorebook in the first half for Courtney here.
And they have no solution for him. I mean, he can go inside, and he's banging threes today. He's the best player on the court, obviously.
I was thinking to myself watching, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's not this hot every game, but there can't be a whole lot of guys in the state that you'd say are better than him.
No, I mean, he's a guy, like I said earlier, his stock is going to rise probably, where he's going to, I'm sure he's shooting trying to be a Big Ten player, so, you know, or if he wants to be in the Midwest, because at the guard spot.
Brown to the hoop here, no, and the tip by Carlson wouldn't drop, and here comes Heidi now for Wayzata. He'll leave it back for Gallinson for 3, and it's good.
15.
Now, Hib Hill would have taken you out of the game for shooting that, but in today's game, that's a good shot, right?
Well, Hib used to always say, "What are you?" Nice shot.
Nice up fake there, and it'll be an and one opportunity for Joey Arndt for Eastridge.
Yeah, when you get, you know, a bonus bucket from your defensive role player, that gets everyone excited on the bench. It's a big bucket. Nice shot fake.
I'll tell you what else Eastridge, among the many things they've done well, is anytime Wayzata's made what seems to be a big basket, they come right back and answer.
They do. You're looking at Kendall Brown. He looks really tired, and he's coming out of the game quite often. He looks like he might be sick and just fighting through something because look on his face, he's looked tired a lot.
Paulson will bring it back out to Williams. Gallinson down the baseline. Courtney Brown with the swat, and then Williams trying to recover it. It goes out off of him. So good help there as Brown sized that one up. Gallinson was trying to avoid the charge, and when played right into Brown's hands, he blocked it easily.
Yep. Call made there by veteran ref Brad Panning. Refed a lot of big games.
Drew Gallinson, good hustle there, and I was not going to stand in and take the charge that time. Hid behind the table or under it or whatever.
Good choice.
Down now to 11 seconds to go, first half. Eastridge has played great. They're up 18. They're going to try and add to it here late. And the one-hander is up and good by Zabrowski, his second bucket. And we reach halftime, and it is all Eastridge here as they come into Wayzata and build a 20-point first-half lead. Wow, 48-28. And we knew these were a couple pretty good teams, and so far one of them has looked quite a bit better than the other at this point.
Yeah, I didn't expect this.
Has played well. Let's go over now to Allie with Coach Tesdall.
Thanks, Jay. Coach, a little bit of a slow start offensively, but you guys have really separated yourself towards the end of the first half. What clicked for you?
Yeah, we've been talking about having patience and moving with the purpose, and we've moved the ball. And if we're off the ball, we've been moving and cutting. And I think we're seeing that if we work well together and we move that ball well together, we're going to get good open shots. And putting 48 up in a half is really good. But we just got to continue to play the way that we want to play and make them adapt to us.
You know, that adapting, they've been trying to force that perimeter game so you guys can't utilize that height. Well, you guys, it's been working for you, though. Will you try to utilize more post play or go with what's been working?
Yeah, we want to work for layups and free throws. And then if they're taking away the paint, obviously we want to step up and make some outside shots, which we've had in the first half. But we just got to continue to move the ball, get in spots where we're successful, and hopefully continue to have success in the second half.
Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Coach Tesdall. We'll hear from Coach Schnettler as well coming back into the half. Wayzata trailing it here 48-28 as the Raptors have come on strong in this first half. We will be back with more of our coverage here of boys basketball from Wayzata High School in just a moment.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
I rescued Toast from a shelter in 2011. I love Toast because she's a lazy diva. Toast does whatever she wants, obviously. She's sleeping right now. She's an epic snuggler. She's so comforting. She's so loving. Toast makes me laugh. When I walked into the shelter, I knew right then that she was special.
Kind of a tough night for Wayzata so far. Anyway, here we've gotten to halftime, and Eastridge has put up 48. They lead at 48-28 here in this non-conference boys basketball matchup, and we'll check out some highlights from this opening half of play. And there've been some impressive plays, particularly for Eastridge. They've been on fire in this first half, and that guy, chiefly among them, Courtney Brown, he's come close to matching Wayzata on his own, knocking down 5 threes. Wayzata had some success early by spreading the court out enough and being able to drive and finish. Drew Gallinson got that one, then the drive and kick to the corner. Keaton Heidi knocking down the 3 for Wayzata. And in most games you'd say 28 at the half isn't great, but it's not horrible. But when they have had so much trouble stopping Courtney Brown and Eastridge, as Brown hit that jumper there, and then a nice finish here on the break by TJ Kelly for the Raptors right there. Williams getting a strong drive. He came in and provided a little spark off the bench for Wayzata, but they just had trouble matching hoop for hoop, that's for sure. Carlson, another impressive showing for Eastridge as well, as he knocked down the 3 right there. Benega stepped into this one, but he's been held relatively well in check. I mean, he's got 8, which isn't bad, but they have done a decent job on him. And here's the younger Heidi Camden driving it and finishing right there for the Trojans, but Eastridge, it's pretty much all gone their way. That was the last hoop of the half as Zabrowski put one up right before halftime. You see Courtney Brown, one of the better halves I've seen in a long time for anybody in our high school game here on CCX. He had 23, and his brother Kendall with 8, as well as Carlson Benega with 8, Gallinson 6, and then it drops off to just 3. So Trojans will certainly have their work cut out heading into half number 2. And I guess the good news, if you want to look at it that way, though, for them is it isn't a conference game. It's not a section game, but they definitely want to play better in the second half, certainly here on their home court as well.
They're out here pretty quick. I think that Coach Nettler didn't have a lot to say, but I think he probably said it with a little bit of fire, knowing him. He's a very intense competitor, and he just got him back out here, I think.
Let's go over to Allie now with Coach Nettler.
Coach, I know a 20-point deficit at half isn't what we were expecting for this game. What kind of happened in the first?
We didn't play very hard. I mean, we didn't talk. We're usually a lot better than that, and we usually play a lot harder than that and talk a lot better than that, and we just didn't do it in the first 18 minutes.
What do you guys do to turn this around? I know you've been forcing the perimeter game to try to, get that size advantage out of there, but they've been knocking down those shots.
Yeah, they've hit a lot of shots, but they're good. I mean, they got obviously some talented players, but I think we can play a lot harder and talk a lot better than we have.
What do you see these guys coming out and doing in the second? Do you see a lot different in the game that you want coming out of them?
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. We'll see. Hopefully they respond. I mean, we got a chance to use the next 18 minutes to get better, and we got to do that.
Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Jay?
Thanks, Coach, and then thanks, Allie. And obviously it's not fun. You've probably been on both sides of that thing, Greg, having to talk a little bit at halftime, and obviously he wasn't too pleased. Maybe more so with just the intensity than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, the work rate for Wayzata has got to be extremely hard at the size that they are for them to beat good teams like this. I mean, they can beat average teams playing like they are today, but for them to beat Hopkins or to beat a team like this, he knows that they have to just get into people and just work so hard. And they weren't like lazy or anything like that, but for the standards that he has set for them and that they've set for themselves, I'm sure they're going to come out with a little more fire in their belly this half. I think the other thing, though, is Courtney Brown. I mean, the guy's always open. He's 6'5", 6'6", and he shoots a jumper. And Wayzata doesn't have anyone near the size on him. He can just jump and shoot over. In the last shot he saw in the highlights, he took 3 dribbles from the wing to the top of the key and shot a jumper. I mean, most teams you'd say, that's not a good shot. Well, it went in very purely, so obviously he can make that. And if he's making shots like that, man, I don't know anyone in the state could stop that guy. Maybe some guys on Cretin-Durham Hall or Hopkins, that's about it.
Well, and if you're Wayzata, you know, you have to hope that they're not quite as hot as they were, but at the same time, coaches never preach it that way. Hey, let's cross our fingers. You know, we have to do things to make them not be as hot, is what Brian was talking about there too.
Yeah, he's never going to say, well, they're beating us just because they're shooting well, and that's true. I mean, they've got to create turnovers. They got to get fast breaks going, because in the half court, this has been a struggle for them with that length that they have, and they're well coached. The Raptors are, you know, always in good position. Not always, but most of the time. And so they make it tough to get the drive to the rim that they're used to. But that being said, Wayzata is a team that if anyone can come back from 20 down, the style that they play and the talent that they have, they can do it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it definitely could happen.
And if you're Eastridge right now, I think you have to, the biggest thing you have to guard against is just overconfidence or relaxing after that kind of first half, because it's kind of human nature, no matter what level of basketball you're playing at, that you think, well, that came pretty easy. Maybe, we don't have to step on the gas as hard as we had been. And that's what you want to avoid if you're the team that's up in this kind of spot.
And that's probably what has to happen for Wayzata to come back from 20 down. It has to be a little bit of complacency sets in, and then Wayzata cranks up the pressure, and all of a sudden feels like, they get one of their patented 10-point runs, and then they feel like they're in the game, and then anything can happen after that.
At least so far, Eastridge has handled pressure, probably better than maybe what Wayzata thought they would. I think, too. They really haven't shown any shakiness in terms of bringing the ball up against pressure so far, anyway.
Well, I thought at the very beginning of the game they split it up a couple times, but then you're right. After that, they've been solid, hardly any turnovers. But I think that's partly because Wayzata's got to pressure more.
So here we go in half number 2. Benegad giving it back to Heidi, now puts it on the deck and goes to the middle, and Carlson erases that one.
Yeah, they definitely have rim protectors, and that kind of takes away some of Wayzata's game.
Benegad tried to sneak it in there to Jonas, but that one did not work. Here comes Carlson, no good, or excuse me, Brown, no good. Nice save.
This is the kind of play that can spark you right here.
Gallinson had it blocked as he faked the pass and went up, and the ball tipped out.
Yeah, Kendall Brown got his hand on that one. Yeah, it's hard to get layups against these guys.
Great save there by Benegad between the legs, and it looks like a 2-on-1, and he faked, but just got a piece of it. Here's Benegad shooting it up, no good. Courtney Brown controls the rebound for Eastridge.
Obviously, they need Jacob to make some shots for him. He's their leader and leading scorer.
Brown, one dribble to the left and knocks down the jumper. He has a variety of weapons too. It isn't a one-trick scorer.
You don't see that shot much anymore. The analytics are saying not to take it. I mean, I look at the shot charts of every team we play and our shot chart. Most teams are shooting a very low percentage on that in-between jumper.
Air ball there from Heidi, and we'll get a foul call against Eastridge.
It's kind of a lost art. It'll probably come back in basketball because that's the shot that's open. Courtney Brown's good at it.
Number 3, Joey Martin checks in for the Raptors.
Paulson will throw it in high to Jonas here, and now Drew Gallinson. Gallinson driving it. No good. Jonas the rebound, no good. Kicks it back out for 3 from Paulson, no good. And up is Courtney Brown to rip it down here for Eastridge.
It's a lot easier to make those shots when you're ahead than when you're behind. Sometimes you just start getting in a funk and press too hard, and shots that Wayzata normally makes, they're missing right now.
Kendall Brown with the floater there, and no good. And Heidi looks like he's hurt. They're going to stop play here as he comes down hard.
Injured Trojan.
Hard to tell what if he came down on the ankle or knee or what exactly.
Yeah.
As you get another look as he drives it down the baseline, goes up and then
we couldn't see, but his foot might have landed on another foot after a couple steps. Definitely in pain.
So Eastridge basketball here. They lead at 52-28 early here, second half.
Yeah, it stinks when you sprain your ankle, man, because you're like, you know, you're out for at least a week, maybe more sometimes if that's what he did. And kind of depressing as a player when that happens.
And that's kind of how it's gone for Wayzata tonight. They forced a miss by Carlson, but then couldn't squeeze the rebound. Bokovitz will come back into the lineup here for Wayzata.
There's a post up, got a mismatch.
Nice shot fake here, drifting left, and it won't go for Kendall Brown, but a nice rebound, and he'll get another crack from 3 this time.
He shoots a set shot, unlike his brother who shoots the jumper there.
Nice follow-up in traffic, TJ Kelly. He hardly jumped there on that rebound, but he got it up so quick. So any hope of Wayzata coming out, storming out of the gates in the second half isn't happening so far. They've been outscored 6-0 early.
Right, Eastridge has not let up one bit.
Gallinson out to Benega. Benega on the drive, no good, and Courtney Brown rebound.
I'm impressed with the position defense and the strength of Eastridge. Every kid is wiry strong or thick and strong, and they can move their feet pretty well too. Even though they don't get out in pressure, they don't let you get all the way to the rim most of the time. Really moving the ball nice here too. So the 5-out offense is so popular in today's game.
Up in traffic, wouldn't go for Arndt, and Wayzata out of there with it. Paulson now driving it back out to Drew Gallinson. He'll take a long 3, no good. Carlson wins the fight. Well, no, he doesn't. Benega comes out of there with it. Benega
no, foul? Okay.
Is fouled. Benega just kind of threw his body in there, waiting to be fouled. Arndt will pick up the foul. Benega showing some
great
fight
hustle
to
play.
Get that. Yeah. Scrambled around there, and then right here he knows he's going to have trouble getting that shot out, but he's just waiting for the contact.
Yeah, and Arndt also, you know, he swung his arm down a little bit and got his body into him, I thought, too. He didn't just jump straight up.
Williams coming back into the Wayzata lineup as Benega hits the free throw.
Yeah, Williams, even though he's a young player, he's very athletic and strong, and that's something that they can use in this game. He already got to the rim one time.
So they're able to set up some pressure now after the made free throws.
Little zone trap, you don't see that very much from Wayzata.
Handled relatively well, though, by Eastridge.
Well, they have the size to see over zone traps. And they're skilled enough that, you know, they're good passers. I should know this, but do they have to beat Cretin-Durham Hall to get to state, you know? Is that their section?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it'll probably be those two in the final.
Section 4A. And there's a drive and a foul drawn as Eastridge will get free throw opportunities here. Ben Carlson, just a sophomore as well, and he's been impressive here tonight too. I mean, it's easy to kind of get lost in the shuffle with Brown and even Kendall Brown, but Ben Carlson, that's a great weapon to have too, especially as a sophomore.
Sophomore, yeah, he's got high major schools looking at him. I know Iowa State, Gophers, and other places because he can shoot it really well for his size, and they're counting on him developing.
Benega back out, Gallinson lines it up and knocks down a 3, and that's what Wayzata is looking for more of here tonight. Benega getting up, trying to create
travel.
Turnover. Yep. Change pivot foot there as Zabrowski tried to throw that ball ahead, and you see a little glimpse of what Wayzata is hoping for. They get the 3, and then they get into their pressure and throw a double at him, and Zabrowski traveled.
Yeah, you're always afraid to start doubling early in a game. You know, you don't want to give teams easy threes and, in this case, maybe dunks. But it looks like that might be the only way that they can come back in this game is to do that.
Well, and you have to pick your spots, too. You kind of realize when the guy's vulnerable to it, I think, too.
True. I mean, there's some schools that do it all the time, but it takes a lot of good athletes to do that.
Going back out, Camden Heidi drives, pulls up, and gets the shooter's bounce there. And then a quick turnover. Benning up with it. Back out. Three-pointer from Hale won't go. And then saved in by Eastridge, but Williams will run it down.
That would have been a big 3, but they got the possession back.
Hale was wide open briefly, but it was hard to see him behind all the big bodies from Eastridge. Now Heidi has it knocked away. Good aggressive play by Kelly, and Kelly scores it.
Yeah, Heidi made the cardinal sin of not picking up the basketball there. You know, not quite used to playing against, you know, I guess I shouldn't say that he's been playing all year, but he just made a mistake. He's got to pick the ball up.
Kelly aggressive, and I thought this one could have quite easily been a free throw coming for Kelly too right here. Looked like he might have gotten hit, but a nice finish either way in traffic there. Yeah, you're right. At that point,
just 2 hands, pick it up, and be happy you got it. Showed good athletic ability trying to block that, though. He got up.
Yeah, I think it very well could have been a
foul
there too. So 56-35 lead for the Raptors. They were up 20 at halftime. Wayzata putting together a little bit of a flurry, but when you only close to 21 after putting a couple things together, you still got a very uphill climb.
They are playing harder, though, and, you know, like you said, they just want to get better. I mean, when you're down by 20, I mean, the odds of you coming back and winning are not very high, but it can happen. But what you really want is you want to make sure your team gets playing better again and playing as hard as they need to play every single time, because, you know, the Section 6-4A has been no picnic, and they know it. And they're a team that won it last year, and, you know, they could still win it this year. They got to get, you know, to the habit where they're just playing that hard all the time. And they got young guys, you know, so young guys aren't used to doing that. You know, we have a similar thing at Armstrong where we're playing a lot of younger guys, and it's taken them a while to learn how hard you got to play all the time.
Benega shooting a 3, and it's in and out. Nice rebound by Ben Carlson.
That one looked like it was in.
Yeah, it did. From our angle, it looked pretty straight.
You got no shot clock in high school basketball in Minnesota, but not that Eastridge would need one. They've fired them up pretty quickly.
Here's Carlson, scores and one, as he did a nice job really gathering, protecting the ball with both hands. And he knew he was probably going to be hit here, and he still finished it.
It's one of the first post-ups I've seen. It wasn't deep in the post, kind of off the lane a little bit, but a beautiful move, drop step, inside pivot.
So Carlson will try and complete a three-point play. And free throw is good, so he has 11 now for the Raptors, and they lead at 59-35. Hale driving it into the lane, and now Gallinson down the baseline he goes. It was blocked by Carlson. Hale quickly up off the glass and good.
I thought Drew got fouled on that one. He made a nice drive, but I guess the length was good enough, so it wasn't a foul.
Kelly back out. Now Courtney Brown.
Drew doesn't back down. Ooh, that's a travel.
Travel call there against Brown. And you can see it's not coming quite as easily in the second half for Eastridge, but at the same time, their lead is actually grown by 2 points from halftime.
Wayzata is struggling with their shooting overall. Notice how Eastridge guys, they don't get right up on them. They back off them about 2-3 feet. They're just containing. They play contained style defense. Very popular in college nowadays, pack line.
Back out, Paulson's gonna shoot this one, and it is good. Luke Paulson's second field goal of the game, both of them from beyond the arc, which is not a surprise if you've seen him play. And that pass gonna be too high as Arndt was coming toward it to meet it, and Brown throws it over his head. So Wayzata, a little spark here, little signs of life.
Yep, it always helps when you make threes, but that, defensive pressure right there. They've created several turnovers this half on that. They got to keep doing that. They got to get hot here.
Gallinson had it knocked away, now drives. Carlson did a pretty good job of staying with him. Paulson back out. Gallinson the fake, but good help defense. The Raptors covered that up, even though it looked like they were beaten.
Yeah, they really recovered well.
Hale into the middle, turns, goes with that strong hand, the left hand, and he scores.
Yeah, I mean, a hard driving, and he just did a stride stop because he couldn't get to the rim and actually turned it into a nice pivot, kind of a hook shot.
Brown ahead. Here's Arndt for the layup, no good. And here comes Wayzata. They're within 17 and looking to cut it a little further. Paulson shoveling it over. Layup is good by Jonas. And Wayzata's back to within 15.
I mean, things were really easy for Eastridge early, and that can be a kiss of death sometime.
They're going to use a timeout right here as Wayzata has upped the pressure a little bit, made a few shots, and they've cut it to 15. It's nice that you have a big enough cushion that even after a run you're up 15, but you can see the complexion of the game's changing a little bit, and they're struggling against that pressure.
Yeah, I don't think Courtney Brown has hit a three this half, has he? So they must be doing a better job on him, and this is what the game that we thought we'd see. I thought anyway, the way Wayzata can play. I've seen him play several times, and they just started off not playing with the intensity they needed, and they've been cold, to be honest, and they have to make shots to beat good teams. They can beat average teams when they're shooting average, but they've got to crank up the intensity like they've been doing, and now they're starting to get a little confidence, get some momentum, and then when you start making threes, well, then that drive to the bucket, the way they play, it just works together. So it's been fun to see them make a little run here. Hopefully they keep it going.
See the Raptors 75% on threes all in that first half, so it's tough to beat teams when that's happening to you. And Wayzata, though, is as we said, is kind of showing signs of life and in terms of their hitting their shots, but also and definitely have started to play better defense.
And remember, we talked about earlier that the depth of Wayzata. We'll see if it comes through about the middle of the second half. Well, here we are, middle of the second half. They're starting to make their run, and let's see if they can sustain it. It's a good timeout call by Coach Tesdall. Oh, he walked. Got lucky right there.
Kendall Brown here into the front court, driving it, and Benega will be called for the foul as he was trying to get up on him and be aggressive and got a little too much of a bump in there.
Yeah, it's crazy the size difference looking at those two. Jacob, pound for pound, is as good as any player around. He's a small guy and he's playing against a bigger guy, but he's really a feisty guy. And look at, he gets that steal. He's the guy who's got to lead him back.
Benega missing on the layup, and Gallinson gets it back. Try to go back to Benega in traffic, and it's out off of Benega. It will be Eastridge ball. So they don't get anything out of it despite a good steal there by Benega.
I think he might have got fouled there, but he didn't complain about it, so maybe not.
Kendall Brown gets it over to Carlson, and then a two-bounce pass there. Pass tipped, but Carlson comes up with it anyway, then lost it on the way up. And Gallinson out of there with it for Wayzata. Gallinson looking left. Layup falls out, no good. And then Jonas knocked it out of bounds.
Tough break there, you got to finish.
Wayzata thought it was out off Eastridge, but.
No, that's a right call. I could see, I think Jonas hit it.
TJ Kelly checks back in for the Raptors.
As Hale trying to finish with his right hand, and then you'll see right there, yeah, it did look like it was out off Wayzata, I agree. Kendall Brown into the front court.
Showing good handles for a 6'5" guy. Pressure is starting to get to him a little bit, though. They're starting to miss some shots and turn the ball over a little bit.
Carlson driving and was fouled. Does a nice job of getting his shoulders turned and putting it down hard into the hoop there.
Yeah, it looked like they're trying to force him left a little bit, but he definitely can use his left hand. He got to the rim quite easily.
Gallinson will pick up the foul, but those are the kind that, like you talked about earlier, I don't think you really mind if you're Wayzata right now. You've got to get up and be aggressive, and you know that might happen a time or two, but that's going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see. I'm sure Coach Netler would too. When he starts driving from the top like that, someone's got to come in and knock the ball off his knee. I mean, you can't just let him drive to the bucket one-on-one. But he missed both free throws, so he's Wayzata a shot here. See if they can get it into the 12 or 13. It's a big possession here for Wayzata.
Knocked away from behind, though, by Kelly.
You don't see that happen very much to Jacob. They get the ball right back. Nice play.
Hale with the steal. Goes to the hoop, scores, and a foul. Hale providing a spark here, his third bucket in this half, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Yeah, he's playing with a lot of confidence. I like his game.
Kendall Brown will pick up the foul.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob Benega got the ball stolen from him on a drive, which you don't see very much. And his teammate just picked him right up and then went coast to coast and got an and one. That's a huge play. Cut it to 12 points right here.
Well, when we were talking earlier about, trying to fight back in it and stuff, I have to admit in my own head, I'm thinking, not likely, but they have closed it to 12. And Eastridge, it sometimes can be really hard to get your mojo back offensively.
Yeah, once you
have
lose
that drought like that.
It's true.
Because they're kind of trying to use time, but trying to be aggressive still. And
I think they're going to get tired too. I mean, they're starting to show signs of making mistakes because of a little bit of fatigue. You hear the crowd getting into it a little bit, which hasn't really happened until now.
Courtney Brown down the baseline, no good, and Wayzata couldn't corral the rebound there. Raptors ball on the baseline. They at least made Brown do something a little different there. As he drove it hard, to his credit. But
well, look at the matchup we got now. Jacob on the big man.
And he's going to be called for the hook, and Coach Tesdahl is furious. Courtney Brown will pick up his second foul. And that is the one that the Raptors did not like.
And I can see it getting in the head of a few of the Raptor players. They're starting to complain about officials. I see Kendall Brown looking at his coach, wanting some calls, and they just got to play through that. Or next thing they know, this game is going to be going in Wayzata's favor.
Nice shot block there as Gallinson tried to get it up in traffic, and Kendall Brown turned that one away. Wayzata ball, though, they got a chance to cut it to single digits here if they can make it three.
They're good on out-of-bounds plays. They score on them a lot.
Oh, not this time, though. Kelly, a great athletic play on the steal. Benninga fouled him, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Jacob wanted to help Kelly up. He didn't want any piece of that. He's a football player. I saw highlight films of him on Huddle because we were going to play them possibly in a tournament, so I wanted to see what kind of athlete he was, and he was a star running back, and he ran over people, and he was a better linebacker. I think he's going D2 for football, but I'm not sure.
So Benninga picking up the foul, and Kelly knocks down the free throw.
And Jacob's a good sport. He went to pick the guy up. Personally, I mean, let him pick you up. We're not out here to hurt each other. And He didn't do it on purpose.
No good there, batted around. And Benega will control it here for Wayzata, and a foul there on Kelly.
So he's mad now. Kelly's mad because he thought he got maybe fouled a little too hard down there, and he's losing his composure, which Jacob doesn't lose his composure, which, you know, that's the thing that gives him a chance right now. I think that they're really keeping their cool.
Yeah, you could see he was going to body him until he Benega inbounds.
Did it again.
And then
so he's lost
Kelly.
his head. Oh, he's going to get technical. I just said Jacob doesn't lose his cool. Come on, man.
Benega clapped in his face, and he's going to be teed up.
Yeah, evidently those two guys going at it got the best of Jacob.
And you see they're both kind of holding, and then you'll see, and he keeps on going, and that's an excellent technical call there. You can't let that go.
Yeah, I like the fire from Jacob, but he knows better than that. And at this point in the game, I mean, they're going to get free throws, and they're going to cut it to 11. Now the other team gets 2 free throws and the ball. Actually, they're not in the bonus yet, but
Brown makes the first. One more coming. This one getting a little heated here after, you know, it's not a conference team or a section team. They don't know each other all that well, and then things heating up a little bit.
No, Wayzata's got a lot of pride, and they were embarrassed after their first half. And they're coming off a state tournament run, and they got, you know, expectations of doing that again. And they were getting pounded pretty good, so I like how they're coming back with fire. That's kind of a reflection of their coach. He's a fiery guy, and they always play with usually play with a lot of passion.
Sure, both coaches right now saying, okay, we understand you guys were both fired up, Kelly and Benega, and but now it's time to forget about it. We get an offensive foul call there on Kendall Brown. That'll be his 4th.
And that's going to hurt them if he has to come out of the game. There's still a lot of time left. I think that was kind of maybe a little bit of a flop here. Yeah. I don't think he went back that hard, but it was a smart play, and he got the call. Well, Brown had his arm out there, which is not smart either.
15-point lead for the Raptors. Here's Benega turning the corner, but couldn't finish with the left hand. Courtney Brown leading the break. Brown had it partially blocked. And Gallinson.
A lot of no calls here.
Yeah. Back to Gallinson, and looks like we'll have a foul call against Kelly.
Kelly got 3 fouls in 30 seconds.
He thought that there was a travel on Gallinson, which it was close. No, 6:19 to go and a 15-point lead here for Eastridge, but Wayzata's battled back to make it interesting. And Gallinson to the free throw line, 1-1. First free throw is good. Let's go over to Allie now with an injury update.
Guys, when we saw Keaton Heidi come off with an ankle injury, he had tossed off his brace, and it had looked as though he wasn't going to make his return, but the trainer has now retaped both ankles. He's putting those braces back on, and as this game gets closer, it looks like he's going to head back in.
Thanks, Allie. 13-point game. Pass tipped, and the Trojans get a steal.
Yeah, dribbled right to a trap spot like Wayzata wanted. Jacobs struggling finishing with the length. You know, he missed the layup, 2 layups in a row now from the left. I haven't seen him miss very many layups in his career, and I've seen a lot of games he's played.
See, Wayzata has really turned the screws up defensively in the second half. Brown left wide open this time, but he couldn't get it to go. Benega the rebound here for Wayzata.
And Wayzata's had their chances the last few possessions.
Hale was fouled. I believe it'll be Zabrowski, and that is his 4th as well. So Connor Hale to the free throw line. Boy, he's been a big weapon in the second half here. 7 points in the half, 9 total. But just as I say that, he misses the free throw.
Yeah, I like his game. He's a scrappy player. He's got some long arms, really hustles.
Kelly down low. Courtney Brown gathers in traffic, had it knocked loose on the way up.
And there's a lot of no calls going on now. both ways.
Hale back out. Here's Paulson lining up a 3, and no good with that one.
Yeah, didn't have a good release on that one. Didn't come off his hand well at all.
And Hale fouls Kelly. Smart play by Kelly there. He could sense that he had him on his back, and he was just going to kind of do that, you know, stop in front of him, the old Globetrotters thing in a little bit there.
Those Easters, number 10 back in, Kendall Brown.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call that a foul, but it's kind of incidental contact, I think. If there's a huge crowd roaring, highly doubt they call that.
Free throw is good by T.J. Kelly.
Wayzata made this a game. They still got a shot here. They get a couple steals and make a couple threes.
Kelly with a couple of important free throws there for the Raptors. The lead goes back to 15.
Both teams are in the bonus.
Paulson a step back, but he can't get it to drop. And Benegar comes out of there with it. Hale, Gallinson, and now Paulson will get another try. No good again, and rebounded by Courtney Brown, and he is fouled.
Luke doesn't miss those that often. Missed 3 in a row there. He's frustrated.
So Brown will come to the other end to shoot here for the Raptors. He had 23 points in the first half, just 4 so far here in the second. But guy that they'll need to make some free throws. And he's been dynamite at the line so far.
He's only scored 17 points this half, so Wayzata's been doing a good job on defense on them.
Yeah, that first half, I mean, obviously we haven't seen Eastridge play much, but you had to figure that was, you know, probably about as good as it could go. Yeah, exactly. Here's Paulson, the drive, the reverse layup is good, and then a quick timeout taken. So Paulson, kind of usually a three-point specialist, showing that he was a little bit cold on the last couple outside shots, but he gets to the lane with the reverse right there.
Beautiful technique, and he's got some good quickness too. Yeah, he's a fearless player, that's for sure. You know, he kept firing up those threes if he's missing, because he's got the green light and he knows that he can get hot.
Been a very interesting game where Eastridge really dominated the first half, and just everything seemed to come pretty easily for them. I mean, any open shot they got, they made for the most part, and obviously Brown was tremendous. And been a much different ball game in the second half. Wayzata fighting back. He still feel like maybe they dug too big of a hole though to really come all the way back.
Seems too little, too late, but you never know with Wayzata, because they can fire them up quick and make them. But even if they do lose the game, Schnettler is going to be teaching the lesson, hey, that's how you got to play the whole time. That's the way you played the second half. If you would have played that way the first half, probably would have had a game that went down to the wire. But who knows? Anything can happen here.
And, you know, I think to a certain extent, this is probably good for Eastridge, too, to not just, you know, have had a comfortable walk-away win. They've had to work for it here in the second half, and you work on situations, too.
True, because they're going to get pressured. That's one of the things that, you know, they play Cretin and teams like that.
Tie up, and it'll go with Eastridge as Benninga reached in and grabbed the ball there.
And they have not handled pressure well this half at all.
No, it's been different, that's for sure. Well, and I think Wayzata, you know, has made a few more shots too, which obviously helps in terms of being able to set up a little pressure.
True.
Kendall Brown back in there with those 4 fouls here for Eastridge. Kelly stepping through the double.
This is where no shot clock makes it tough, man. We were down to Maple Grove by, I think, 6 points with 6 minutes to go, and they started stalling, and you know, it was tough for us.
And Gallinson getting in the passing lane. It's going to be out off of Brown. It will be Wayzata basketball.
I thought that went off of Wayzata, but
you see definitely a first hit by Gallinson, and then I don't know.
It's a hard call.
So under 4 minutes to play now. Wayzata down 14, and Paulson gets to the rim there for the layup.
Blew by him. See if they can get a 10-second count here.
Zabrowski giving it up to Carlson. He'll get to the front court. Double came. Paulson knocked it away, but it'll stay Eastridge ball. 3:32 to go. And a 12-point lead for the Raptors. If you tuned away for a while because it was a big margin and come back, you say, okay, things have changed a little bit here. Wayzata has fought their way back into it. They've never gotten it below 10, I don't think, but you know, they've made an effort and closed the gap. They're still obviously facing kind of tall odds here at down 12.
I mean, they never really got hot like I've seen them get hot. You know?
Right.
If they would have, this game would be about a 4 or 6 point game right now.
Kelly down the baseline, giving it up. Oh, and a nice finish there by Courtney Brown. Good patience, both guys there.
That was good basketball right there. Not settling for jumpers.
Paulson trying a circus shot there, no good. Courtney Brown leading the break the other way here for Eastridge. Good hard jump stop and layup is good. And he's kind of put his stamp back on this one again late here, Greg.
Yeah, he's a good player. Making plays, attacking the bucket at the end. I like that.
And here's the steal by Kendall Brown. He will go off the glass for his brother, and Courtney hammers it home. I could see that one coming.
Yeah, the brothers are going to like the highlight on that one. And they're old men. They'll be looking back at that one and saying, remember we threw that off the glass.
Benega answers with a 3, so it cuts it back to 15, but the Brown brothers, the steal here by Kendall, and he lays it off the window. And
it's got to be fun for their parents watching them play together in the same court. Not many brothers get to play together, and to be able to make a play like that together is pretty cool.
Yeah, Eastridge has responded. I mean, I'm sure they're, you know, for a little while they're kind of starting to question themselves, you know, how are we letting them back into it and everything. But I think they've done a pretty good job of solidifying and you know, coming back and playing well down the stretch here too. And you know, this isn't a bad team that they're playing either, so they kind of realize that too, I think, or you factor that in a little bit.
Right. That's probably what they expected the game was going to be like, and then when they, you know, they're kids and it's human nature, you think, well, man, these guys aren't very good. Well, then they started playing up to their abilities and caught them off guard, maybe a little bit emotionally, and then to gather yourself back and then fight, you know, and not let that lead get down to 6 or 7. That's a sign of a good team getting ready for the tournament. So I like their squad. I mean, they got some tough-minded guys. They're not the quickest team, but they're not slow, and they're really long. And they got some hard-nosed guards, I think, too. You know, that are number 5 he's kind of skinny, but he's skilled. And then I really like number 2. He's tough. He's a tough guy.
Eastridge ball in the backcourt after that made 3 by Wayzata. Kendall Brown is fouled. Paulson and Williams collapsed on him. It'll be a foul on Cody Williams.
I mean, that's an issue though for Eastridge, you know, when they're going to play against teams that are going to be pressuring them, because they've dribbled that ball right to that trap spot and got trapped several times. They don't have a pure point guard, it looks like. They got guys who are decent and pretty strong athletically. You know, to get to the state tournament and win games there, that'll be interesting to see if they have a chance to do that.
Hale coming up with that loose ball, had it knocked away, and it's going to be out off of Hale as Zabrowski reached back in and was able to knock it off the leg or foot of Hale. Kendall Brown throwing it long. Courtney Brown gathers and scores. He didn't want to be fouled there. He wanted to lay up, and he fought through some contact to get it.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to lay up.
No, you're right. He wanted to
hammer it.
Benega gets the layup to go there for Wayzata. Knocked away, and Hale now to Benega. He's going to stop and let it rip. And he hits.
That's a 3 for Benega.
So Benega saying, Wayzata, we're not quite done yet. And that's the type of ball they play. I mean, they're, like you said, at least you know, a couple of their guys especially, but really everybody kind of have the green light to shoot the 3 when they can. And I knew when he took one dribble, I knew this was gonna come up.
And I'm guessing their percentage, my gut feeling, is in the 20s for 3s today. It's not high. I mean, and they can shoot in the 40s as a team. last year they did, I know, and this team can too. So, you hate to say if you would have shot better, you would have, had a better chance to win. But I think in this case, that's partially true. But they really played defense a lot better this half, and that's what they needed to do the first half, and they didn't do it.
$18 now for Benega after that last made three. Raptors a little tardy coming out of the huddle here. Carlson will inbound here for Eastridge. We got. You're looking at Courtney Brown. I think
you could just throw it deep.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like there was certainly room to throw that one over everyone, and instead they turn it over. Gallinson out of Benega.
Coach Tesdall knows what they'll be working on in practice.
And Paulson not able to hit the three. Kelly out of there with it for Eastridge.
It's hard to simulate that though in practice. You're going against your JV squad or whatever, and sometimes the JV does better than other teams, but it's hard to simulate going against
Paulson
pressing defenses.
Fouled there by Zabrowski, and that'll be number 5 on Zach. He thought he saw an opportunity to jump in for the steal, and it ended up being a pretty hard collision, and Paulson is shaken up. Like he's all right, so Zabrowski does foul out. The good news, I guess, for Eastridge, he made it till a minute 33 to go. There's another look at it. Ended up being a hard collision there.
Cut it to 10 here.
Paulson's free throw is good. And in and out on the second, and Courtney Brown rebounds. Kendall Brown back out to Courtney.
Ooh, almost had turnover there.
Here comes Arndt down the baseline, no good. Rebound, Courtney Brown, and he finishes it. The drive here, and Hale able to get it to go as he came up on the
beautiful job with English
there.
Yeah,
11-point game again, but under a minute to play now. Kendall Brown, and we'll get a foul call.
Wayzata personal number 22, Cody Williams.
Williams will pick it up, and Kendall Brown to the free throw line. Free throw is good. And he makes a pair, and Kendall, I think, will check out now. And coming in is Brady Coons for Eastridge, so that's only the 7th guy that they've played here tonight. Brown presumably done for the night here. 50 seconds to play, 13-point Eastridge lead. Gallinson the drive, the layup, and a foul. Gallinson will finish it, and they were too late trying to get there for the charge, and be score the basket, and Coons will pick up the foul.
Before the high school league is the semicircle they're going to put in there, possibly for high school. It's going to be proposed to them. I kind of like it. I don't like charges right underneath the bucket.
Basket was good by Drew Gallinson. He'll get the line shooting 1. Brady Coons his first personal.
So Gallinson trying to complete the three-point play here for the Trojans. Not able to do so, but they're going to get another opportunity. Here's Gallinson down the baseline. Williams attacks and gets the layup to go. Cody Williams for 2, and Wayzata not quite done yet. They're down 9 now with 31 seconds to play.
And if Diane Miller was at the game right now, she'd be like, why are they still calling timeout? But hey, we have to keep trying. You never know what can happen at the end. We've seen some crazy finishes. But it's kind of a weird thing in basketball. You got this game. It's up and down, up and down, up and down. At the end of the game, you got all your timeouts, and everyone uses them. And the game slows down to free throws and timeouts. And something that I wish that they could, and they are trying to address that a little bit in pro and college, where they're making players be the only ones who can call timeout, limiting the amount of timeouts at the end of the game and stuff. And
I've said this many times. I am to the point where I can't watch the end of an NBA game. It's ridiculous how many timeouts there are. Yeah. Every trip down the court, there's a timeout.
Yeah.
I got a remote in my hand, Greg. I'm changing the channel at that point.
Because they get so many every quarter. So I hope they. I would like to see them do that in high school too. Like maybe in the last minute, you get one timeout or something like that, and you really got to save it for when you need it. And even just the free throws, all the free throws you see at the end of games with the bonus and stuff. Be nice if they could come up with some way to say, well, we don't want that or whatever, and make teams trap. And
yeah, it's a part of the game. It's just been part of basketball for forever, but I don't think anybody really likes watching free throws ever.
No.
And there's a steal by Paulson. Now Drew Gallinson. Reverse layup is good. 7-point game.
They're really struggling with pressure.
Carlson was fouled.
And not the way that Eastridge wanted to end this. The coach has his head down over there. Players have their heads down. They know they're going to win this game most likely, but they would rather have gone out with a 20-point victory, 15-point victory, and not turn the ball over so much.
Carlson's free throw is good. Second one is also good, so back to a 9-point game. Now under 15 to play here. Hale to Williams, kicks it across. Gallinson for a 3, won't go, and there's a nice rebound by Courtney Brown. Ball knocked free. Wayzata will get it back, but no more opportunities here, and the game comes to an end. So the strong first half for Eastridge was too much for Wayzata to overcome. They made it a game, but 79-70 Raptors is the final, and we're seeing why the way they've won a lot of games this year, Greg, and why they're really a strong team.
Yeah, and you also saw Wayzata why they're a good team. I mean, they won that second half by 11, and they played a lot harder like Coach wanted them to do, so they did get better like he wanted. And, they're a dangerous team. Wayzata will bounce back. They've had a lot of good victories already this season, and they have a nice record too. But, yeah, Eastridge, they got some big-time players on that team, and just wait to see them in a couple years. They're going to be one of the best teams in the state for sure if they keep this group together. So it was a fun game. At least the second half was, good that Wayzata showed themselves well.
38 points in the game for Courtney Brown. Ben Carlson 13 and Kendall Brown with 12 for the Raptors, and 18 points for Benninga, 15 for Gallinson to lead the way here for the Trojans. So we hope you've enjoyed tonight's telecast here from Wayzata. For Greg Miller, Ali Arlt, and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Again, your final, Eastridge 79, Wayzata 70.